The afternoon sun hung low over the Carter farm, bathing the fields in amber light. The wheat swayed in the breeze like a golden tide, rustling softly, peaceful. Emily Carter wiped the sweat from her brow and adjusted her gloves. She'd spent most of the day repairing a fence line, one stubborn nail at a time. The quiet, the labor, the rhythm of farm life, these were her comforts. She was used to solitude. Even as a child, she'd spoken little and listened much. After marrying Jake, that didn't change. She liked it that way. Jake had understood. You don't have to be loud to be strong, he used to say. She'd smile at that. He always saw her. But not everyone did. A low rumble grew louder over the sound of the wind. 3 dirt bikes tore down the main road, kicking up gravel and dust like a swarm of hornets. Emily looked up from the fence and exhaled through her nose. She knew that sound, and the people behind it. Zane, Troy, and Lacey. Local trouble, bored and bitter. Zane with his cracked sunglasses and greasy hair. Troy, his shadow, meaner when drunk. Lacey, loud-mouthed and cruel, always recording, always laughing. They'd been sniffing around the Carter land for weeks, treating it like a joke. Tossing empty beer bottles in the creek, vandalizing the fence. Emily never engaged. She believed ignoring snakes gave them no reason to bite. Today, they wanted a reaction. The bikes rolled to a stop near the edge of the field, just past the Carter barn. Emily turned back to her fence post, hammering in a nail like they weren't there. The air grew still behind her. Well, if it ain't the mute farm witch, Zane called out, dismounting. Troy chuckled, still pretending to be better than the rest of us. Emily didn't reply. She didn't look up. That made them mad. Hey, Lacey shouted, stepping closer. We're talking to you, freak. Are you too dumb to understand English? Emily lowered her hammer, finally turning to face them. Calm, steady. You should leave, she said quietly. The words were gentle but firm, like the first creak of a door before a storm kicks it in. But they didn't hear it that way. They saw a quiet girl standing alone in a field with no witnesses and no one to stop them. Oh, Zane grinned. What are you gonna do? Stare at us? He lunged forward and snatched the hammer from her hand. Emily didn't resist. She took a slow breath, her eyes scanning the horizon. No vehicles, no neighbors nearby. Troy circled behind her. Maybe we ought to teach you some manners. They grabbed her arms. Lacey tossed a coil of rope down from her backpack. Emily didn't fight. Her heart raced, but her mind was clear. She let her body go slack, conserving energy. The oak tree near the edge of the pasture loomed behind her, the one Jake had built a swing on last summer. They dragged her to it. Zane pulled the rope tight around her wrists, binding them behind the trunk. Troy looped more rope around her waist, anchoring her in place. The bark bit into her skin. The ground was dry, covered in broken leaves and old acorns. You think your little soldier boy's gonna come running? Lacey mocked, stepping back and pulling out her phone. Let's send him a nice picture. Maybe he'll cry. Emily said nothing. Her eyes found the small ridge in the distance. The one Jake always used to scan with binoculars when he was home. Her gaze lingered. You're crazy, Troy laughed. Just stand there like a statue, huh? Zane leaned in close, smirking. Maybe she likes it. They laughed, took turns posing for photos beside her. The rope pulled tighter every time she shifted, burning her wrists. But she wasn't thinking about the pain. Pinned inside the lining of her overalls, stitched under the fabric where no one could see, was a slim, rectangular transmitter, no bigger than a pen cap. Jake had installed it after the last time some drunk locals tried to corner her at the feed store. If something ever happens, he'd said, cupping her face in his hands, press and hold it. 3 seconds. Don't hesitate. She didn't. While they jeered and postured, Emily leaned forward slightly, pressing her chin against the hidden seam at her collarbone. She felt the tiny click beneath the fabric. Once, twice, hold. A soft vibration ticked against her chest. Then silence. She exhaled. Not relief, just readiness. 32 minutes. She knew how long it would take. Jake had drilled it into her. The last thing she heard before they turned their backs and walked toward their bikes again was Lacey's voice, mocking. What's the matter, quiet girl? Cat got your tongue. Emily closed her eyes, her voice barely a whisper. The sky had deepened to a bruised orange when the first sound came, not the rustle of wind, not the distant calls of crows, but a low, rhythmic hum. Zane, Troy, and Lacey were sprawled in the grass near the tree, passing around a warm bottle of whiskey. They hadn't looked back at Emily in 20 minutes. She remained tied to the oak, silent, unmoving. The ropes were tight, cutting into her skin, but her face showed nothing. No fear, no begging, she just waited. Zane took a long swig from the bottle and flopped onto his back, staring at the sky. You know, if that husband of hers shows up, I almost hope he tries something, he laughed. Big military man or not, 3-on-1's still bad odds. Troy snorted. Dude's probably halfway across the country. He ain't showing. Then came the shift in air. A crunch of tires on gravel, distant but rapid. Lacey sat up first. You hear that? Zane propped himself on his elbows. Probably some farmer. The sound grew louder, deeper, heavier. Not a pickup, not a tractor. The hum turned into a roar. Then, dust. Lots of it. A black SUV came flying around the bend in the road, headlights off, engine screaming. It tore down the gravel path toward the tree line like a bullet off course, gravel exploding in its wake. The vehicle slid to a sharp stop 20 yards away, nose angled toward the group. No one moved. The driver's door flung open. Jake Carter stepped out. He was wearing a fitted black shirt, sleeves rolled, veins visible down his forearms. Combat pants, gloves tucked into his belt. His eyes scanned the field with practiced speed. Emily didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Jake saw her immediately, bound to the tree, head upright, face calm. He started walking, not running, walking, each step deliberate, silent. His expression never changed. Troy stood up first, uncertain. Hey man, you lost or? Jake struck him before the sentence finished. A fast, precise jab to the solar plexus. Troy folded forward, breath gone, knees buckling. Jake grabbed him by the collar before he hit the ground and tossed him sideways like a bag of feed. He hit the dirt with a grunt. Zane froze. Jake's boots crunched closer. He didn't speak. Not once. Zane made the mistake of charging. He swung wide, clumsy. Jake ducked beneath the punch and drove his shoulder into Zane's gut, lifting and slamming him down hard. A sharp crack. Zane cried out, curled into himself, coughing violently. Lacey ran. She made it 10 steps before Jake caught her wrist and yanked her back. He didn't hit her, just held her there, arm twisted behind her, and whispered low. You put a rope around my wife. She shook her head, trembling. It was just a joke. He let go. She stumbled back and fell. Coughing, scrambling. Jake didn't look back. He was already moving toward the tree. Emily's eyes found his as he knelt beside her. He pulled a knife from his belt and sliced through the rope in one clean movement. Her arms dropped forward, red and raw. He caught her gently before she could fall. You okay? He asked, voice soft, only for her. She nodded. I hit the beacon. I know. He looked over her wrists, the marks on her skin, the way she was favoring one side. His jaw tightened. For a second, he looked like he might walk back and finish what he started. But Emily touched his arm. I'm all right. He stood, lifting her with one arm like she weighed nothing. From the road came the wail of sirens. Red and blue lights flickered through the dust cloud. Sheriff Mills' cruiser skidded to a stop behind Jake's SUV. Another car pulled in behind it. Deputies stepped out, guns drawn, until they saw who was standing. Jake didn't flinch. Sheriff Mills approached, winded. Jake, what the hell's going on? Jake nodded toward the 3 on the ground. Ask them. Mills looked to Emily, still in Jake's arms, and paled. Jesus. They tied her to a tree, Jake said. His voice was calm again. Cold. They laughed about it, took pictures. Mills turned toward the trio, who were now huddled, bruised, silent. Jake looked the sheriff dead in the eye. Don't press charges. Mills blinked. What? Jake's voice dropped an octave. Let them go. No court, no trial. They'll wish I had. The sheriff hesitated. He knew Jake, knew his past, knew what Delta Force did, and what it didn't. Mills nodded slowly. Jake turned without another word and carried Emily to the SUV. He opened the door, helped her inside, then walked around and slid into the driver's seat. As the SUV pulled away, leaving a cloud of dirt in its wake, none of the bullies spoke. Jake didn't either. Emily leaned against the window, eyes closed, hands bandaged.